Welcome to Board Ghost, a story broadcast with games as the engine.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there, but has it been forever? 'Cause dying don't agree with me, no.
We believe you're out there, hungry for stories for shared experience. We can't see you, can't hear you, yet we will play for you. This night's offering is our continuation of our game of Kingdom. To learn how we generate stories playing games of Kingdom, go check out our Kingdom Rules Primer. Kingdom is designed by Ben Robbins, who also did Follow and Microscope, and is produced and published by Lame Mage Productions, Ben Robbins' production company. Very good stuff. He does great games, and every once in a while he'll make a new game and put it on Kickstarter, so keep an eye out for Ben Robbins. Our humble players, myself, John Holt, with me.
Back again, Ken Breese.
D. Gailey.
And I'm Lucian Khan.
So we are a bunch of cats on Meowtropolis, a floating garbage scow. Oh, no, sorry, a city of bounty where felines rule. We compete for social status and the trappings that brings. There are a couple threats in play, though. The first mate hates cats, and food is becoming scarce, or consumables of some sort are starting to become scarce, potentially. Also, the judges over the competition are vulnerable to corruption. We have some locations in play. We have the main drag, a ruined horsehead, now bar and club. Crystal World, a crystal lake of fresh water that the bed is made of glass and mirror pieces. And we also have the Catwalk, which is where our competition takes place. It is the rusted remains of a railing where that talent show is done. Skybox is the top of the garbage heap where garbage is dropped down and where the freshest rotting food is to be found. Sluice Pipe is the broken wooden chest with composted soil made of old gowns and costume jewelry with sequins in it. And the dankest sluice catnip grows there that's like unto opiates for us cats. The snake den is the scary old freezer where cats go to die, maybe? Mysterious purpose. Temple Meowse is the synagogue. It's the clean galley of the barge where the first mate and captain's food might be. And where we all go to observe because we are all Mewish.
We are Hebrew.
Hebrew.
And we practice mutism.
The last location is the Dump Gardens. It's a series of boxes that act as luxury high-rise condos. Our current crossroad is: will the kingdom eat the forbidden food from Temple Meowse? Will Meowtropolis sink to eating the forbidden food? If they do, the prediction is that retaliation will begin by the first mate against us cats. But if we don't, there may yet be a food riot that starts out with the lowest of the low, the slooshed up sluice ruffians down in the sluice pipe. Sluice heads, I don't know what they are called, but they are no good.
My character, Chester McStuffin, now that the rules are that you don't have to wear any clothes, he's a little unsure how to proceed. He's decided it might be best to take a more underhanded approach going forward. And so he has arranged a secret meeting with Rabbi Rainbow.
Where?
Outside of the snake den.
Yes.
A place where cats dare not go. The kitties and cats of Meowtropolis dare to tread, or fear to tread even. I arrive first. This is like a clandestine meeting.
Yep.
And so I'm very much in my most clandestine garb. I have a long cape on and a very wide-brimmed hat. I also, for whatever reason, have a cane that has a crystal top on it. For some reason, I've decided to wear a domino mask as well. To make my way very quietly to this very scary place. The snake box is an old ice chest, and it smells of death. Legends say that cats who don't pass on through the usual Mewish rituals performed in Temple Meowsis, those who for the rituals are not performed for, they die here, this weird snake den. So there's this weird aroma of death here.
Rabbi Rainbow has taken a very different approach to disguise. He really doesn't want anybody to suspect that anything untoward is going on with the head of the Mewish community. So he is wearing high-waisted dad jeans and an ugly Christmas sweater. He is actually still wearing the yarmulke, but on top of the yarmulke, he's wearing like hat, like a little cap that has like a mackerel on it and says "Gone fishing."
Yeah. Chester says, "Thank you for meeting me here."
We have to stop meeting like this. What's this all about?
I know that this is out of the ordinary. And honestly, I didn't know if you were come or not. I didn't know if I could trust you or not.
Why wouldn't you be able to trust me?
Because you're a competitor.
I'm not a competitor.
Yes,
What are you talking about?
I can see it. I know the eyes of a competitor, and you are a competitor.
All I've ever done is try to be a good steward of the Mewish community on this.
And you've been successful, but I can see, like me, you want more. I'm just a maitre d'. I'm just a waiter, an up-jumped waiter. Sure, people like me because I'm able to get them good tables and get them good food, but I don't have their true respect. Not respect like you have, but I can see you want more. Just like me, I want more too.
Are you saying that you're interested in the rabbinate?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Because we're taking more rabbinic students.
What I'm saying is that the rules for this year's competition, they don't sit right with me.
At this statement, you see like a strange series of emotions in Rabbi Rainbow's eyes. Like first, just this look of like blank confusion. Like, what could this mean? The rules don't sit well with you. And then a furrowing of the brow and a twitch of the whiskers, and his tongue pokes out in sort of like a little blep. He says, What do you mean? How you don't agree with the rules? What does this mean?
I think that these rules, they don't allow us to put on display what we must, to strut our stuff, to show what beautiful style we have. I enjoy your style. I enjoy how you blend such wonderful style and fashion with the proper attire of a good Hebrew man.
Gives you like a very solemn look, and he says, if you had really been paying attention in synagogue, you would know that back in the beginning of time, when cats were first created, we were created in the nude, obviously, and for us to truly strut our stuff, for us to exhibit that which was given to us by the Lord, surely does that not mean returning to our original conditions?
I mean, you're the expert here. I had hoped that you could see what I'm talking about, but I just don't think you do.
Back in that garden, before the garden that we have now, this garden of dumpster garden or whatever it is that the people are living in these days, there was another garden, and when Fluffy and Snuggles were first created in that garden, they were naked.
I'll take your word for it. It gets a sense that you and I are going to have a real good competition. I wish you luck.
And he looks at you. You see a little curling of his mouth and a little smirk. And he says, in my experience. There's no such thing as luck.
Okay, so I will definitely be checking off one of each. We move forward in terms of our crossroads. We're running out of food. The crisis continues. I think that there is a sort of like pushback against these rules, that they are too avant-garde maybe, or that they're too disruptive. But for whatever reason, and at least for Chester and people who feel like Chester feels, we're sort of heading towards the avant-garde. Like maybe we need to get more radical because what's in place is not working out.
Rabbi Rainbow's immediately after this conversation goes back to the Temple Meowse, like takes off his ugly Christmas sweater and his dad jeans, puts on his like shiny exercise outfit, and like furiously practices his dance routine for like hours. I have another prediction, which is that if the kingdom eats the forbidden food from Temple Meowse, if yes, there will also be a protest movement started by the per mitzvah kittens against the community using the resources of the temple.
As the rabbi and Chester go their separate ways in the shadows of the icebox. Yeah. You see the telltale glimmer of a pair of eyes, and stepping forward is the shrouded Narcissa as she squints into the camera. So yeah, I think this takes place at the Sluice Box. Is that Sluice Box? That what it's called? I can't find the thing.
Or Sluice Pipe.
Sluice Pipe.
Sluice Pipe.
This is a pretty kind of like dim and dirty place. It's where all the like, crusties come to get their catnip on. But it's also a place that none of the higher ups, the influential people go. Narcissa is there, and I think Chester is there, and I think that there's some other people, some NPCs who maybe look a little bit out of place, but they're got their like avant-garde fashion. There's some of the goth kittens. There's like some of all of these little
Sluice heads.
Yep, all these subgroups of kittens who don't fit in with the elites. And they're having their own clandestine meeting.
Yes.
Of the avant-garde.
Yes.
I have a question. How are invitations sent for meetings of the avant-garde?
I would think it's just purred of mouth. Really.
Yes.
Narcissa is there first, and they're kind of like in the back corner of this sunken chest. Like people have to kind of climb over the piles of sequins and some cats that are blissed out like in there. But she's there with a couple of other people quietly talking as Chester comes in.
Chester looks a little uncomfortable. He hasn't been to the Sluice Pipe in many years since he stopped working at the main drag.
Plus, Sluice Chic is not in style anymore.
Sluice Chic is many seasons ago at this point. So he's wearing some out-of-season Sluice Chic. But definitely the look on his face marks him as someone who is not usually here. Not a regular and not comfortable. But catching sight of you, he comes over, sits down, sort of nodding to the others and saying, "Thanks for the invitation."
I'm glad you came, friend.
I had to.
I wasn't sure, some of the things you've said in the past about my style, about the clothes. I thought maybe
This is bigger than style, Narcissa. This gets to the very core of what Meowtropolis is all about.
I know, man. That's why we're here. That's why all of us are here because, you know, we might have different outfits, different styles, but we can see it, man. At that meeting, that judge, what he was talking about, that's a perversion. They're trying to pull the wool over our eyes by taking all their clothes off, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, a big orange tabby comes up and is like, seriously, do you know how much I now enjoy Mondays that I can wear what I want and I could eat as much lasagna as I like and just not worry about my body because I can still look good as long as I have the right coverings and just look great as I go in on the first day and, you know,
Man,
it just looks good.
I
you're
hear what
working
you're
now?
saying, man. But you know what? When was the last time you saw any of that lasagna?
Oh, well, too long.
We're
That-
hoping and we're praying. We're praying to Meowses.
But see, that's the thing. All of that praying, that doesn't go to anyone, man. Like, we've got to do for ourselves what we need to do. And all those people up there in the temple, it's a smokescreen, man. They have food. Do you know how much food they have there in the temple? I've seen it. Enough to feed all of us.
They have food in there. And I even tried to get Rabbi Rainbow to see reason. I spoke with him. Spoke from my heart. And said that this system has to change.
And any of that good Italian multi-layered stuff?
The cans and cans of Chef Boyardee. That's what I'm saying. Those guys in the temple, they're never going to let us have it. They just want us to pray to their God. They want us to follow their rules, dress how they want us to dress. But this is about the people. This is about the kittens out there starving. And all they care about is the catwalk, this competition. That's not important.
Well, I mean, the competition and the catwalk are important as a part of our society, as a pillar, really. But the way it's been perverted and turned against us.
Yeah.
Some of the other sluice heads like poke their heads up from laying down. They're like, "Yeah, man, you go, yeah."
But you're right, Narcissa. You're the one who knows best how to find what we need to make the society better.
So then it sounds like we're agreed.
I think so.
Something has to be done.
Definitely.
Gotta get this man his lasagna.
I think that's the scene.
All right.
So I'm gonna check the crossroads.
You also want to check a crisis or
Yeah, I'll do it.
O5? Okay. So, end game. Decide together if this is going to be the end of our game yet. I don't think so yet.
No,
No.
not with the crossroads.
Not
no,
quite
man.
yet.
The
This does not
crisis.
change how the crossroads resolve, but it may change what players decide to make it happen. If resolving the crossroads fills a crisis in our time cards, continue and resolve them before you stop play. I guess we'll see what happens.
Mhm.
So set the stage, read aloud the crossroads and all items on the yes or no columns to remind everyone what's at stake.
This crossroads, will the kingdom eat the forbidden food from Temple Meowses? If
This is definitely what this game was
Yeah,
designed for.
exactly. Yes, this is what it was designed for.
If the kingdom eats the food, there will be retaliation against the cats by the first mate of the barge.
And
And the kittens in Hispru school will rise up in revolt against the use of the sacred food in this way. Their per mitzvah food fund.
Yes.
yeah.
And if the kingdom does not eat the food, then a different riot will start of the lower class rising up from the sluice pipe.
All right.
Playing it fast
Okay.
and
Yeah.
loose.
So now the decision lies with the power. So there's only one power, so it'll be my decision.
Yeah. Is the kingdom going to eat the food?
So there's sort of like prelim when people come to register, and it also has kind of become an unofficial like open forum for people to. It's like like a parliament kind of.
You mean register for the competition?
Register, yeah, like officially sign up or whatever.
Yeah.
Like this is sort of one of the last steps before the competition starts, and people come out for it and cheer. But there's like a grumbling and sort of the luster is off a little bit, and people are pretty upset. Buttercup, standing watching this, notices that people are not in full spirit. They decide, they want lean bodies. Lean bodies don't need to eat. And why would we open up the coffers of the forbidden food? There's a reason it's forbidden to us. It's part of our discipline and part of our tradition that we maintain it. In fact, stands up and declares, we will not eat the forbidden food. The lean times are here as a sign that we need to get fit for the competition to come. And a little bit of interval fasting is just the thing.
I think that Narcissa is going to challenge that.
What does Narcissa do to challenge that? So let me pop to challenge. It's a challenge. Yeah, within this, it's specifically a challenge. But then you can, if your challenge has failed, you can opt to escalate and overthrow. So there you go.
Narcissa shows up to this day and hearing the proclamation from the judge. She's got like a posse of kittens with her. They've got like their best avant-garde fashion on. They've got like all the colors and asymmetrical styles. And she like stands up on her hind legs. She says, Judge Buttercup, you are wrong. You don't represent the people. The people are hungry. Give us the food. And she starts meowing like, meow, 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 meow.
Now, listen here, little kitten. I'll let y'all go eat that food if that's what you so much want, but your chances of winning are slipping away. So they allow it. So now you've challenged, so we will now eat.
Eat the food.
Eat the food.
Oh, shit. Why? I would just like to know, why is it that this meowing protest of the avant-garde is able to sway Buttercup?
Buttercup is one, like, a little bit loose on Sluice right now. But on top of that, like, when the decision is in their hands and they're the arbiter of it, they can say, well, we're not going to go and eat this forbidden food. You're going to do what I say. Then when the people say, well, we want something else, at that point, they're like, well, you're the ones breaking tradition. You're the ones breaking the rules. I didn't tell you could break the rules. I'm just saying I'm washing my hands of the situation. For Judge Buttercup, they've justified themselves, and they're still the morally superior being in this instance. It's the rabble who have shown how beneath his judgment they are.
Got it.
Efficient.
Yeah, that's great. I was just curious why that
So
worked.
then the yes statements take effect.
Right.
They both come true.
Oh,
Describe how that happens. Like what your character sees, those outcomes coming true. Like what do they witness?
So chronologically, the first thing that happens is the per mitzvah student revolt. As the rabble of avant-garde cat people comes storming into the synagogue kitchen.
meow, 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 meow.
Rabbi Rainbow stands in front of the pantry wrapped in an old, enormous, discarded rainbow pride flag with his claws out, hissing, trying to blockade the way. He is suddenly surrounded by an entire cohort of per mitzvah kittens who are going, mew, 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 mew. They're all wearing tiny Hispru talismans. They are mewing in Hispru the words of their prayers that they have been preparing. All of those prayers are about the righteousness of God and the goodness and rightness of the traditions of cats of old and adhering to the sacred decision-making power of talent shows. So they're mewing and mewing and mewing. Their claws start to come out, and it starts to like look like it's about to get maybe violent. But before it does, before there's a chance for there to be a cat fight, all of a sudden, a human voice resounds. You hear drunken bellowing of some strange human language. It's the first mate. He comes clambering into the galley with a broom and just starts like swatting at cats left and right. From the perspective of Rabbi Rainbow's, it's like this broom is enormous, right? And these like huge bristles are like coming out of nowhere, just like swatting at him and swatting at the per mitzvah kittens and swatting at the enemy avant-gardists and like everyone's just like running around. But from the perspective of the first mate, it's just he's waving his broom at a bunch of cats and a bunch of cats are scattering.
So touchstones. Here's where you can do popular reaction.
I think Chester McStuffin is representing the middle of the road here. The members of Meowtropolis who are just interested in, Eurovision or, they're interested in the competition. They want to see it happen. They want to be dazzled. They want to see it happen correctly.
So was he in the crowd of protesters?
So that's the crux of the question, right? And I think from Sluice Pipe to opening ceremonies, yes. Like, we are protesting. We're taking this to the opening ceremonies saying, we need to stop this. This isn't right. But once it turns into we're storming Temple of Meowsis to, like, eat all the food, I think that's where he sort of, takes a step back. It's like, whoa! I'm not here to like storm the gates of our holy place. I just want a good, clean competition. He's with this sector of the society that is not happy with what's going on at all.
Narcissa was with a group of people storming the temple, and as the first mate attacked, cats were like flying everywhere. In the shuffle, like cabinets are flying open, all this stuff. Some cats were able to, in the shuffle, grab like a couple of things with them. So some food was able to be taken, but not enough for everyone. So I think Narcissa and the people that are on her side feel like strides were made, but not enough was done. So I wouldn't say they're happy about it. I would say there's turmoil and...
So the question is, does this bring us closer to crisis or not? What do you think?
I think so.
Okay. And now, are you guys at odds then?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it'll feel crisis.
Turmoil versus ambivalence.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, okay. You guys will be full. So now we're going to resolve crisis.
So yeah.
Is this going to be the end of our game? I think so.
Yes,
right?
I think it's...
Before this, the humans on the barge were generally ambivalent about like the species, the population, but this is the first like direct interaction they've had. The animals, quote unquote, coming into the human spaces, getting up in their shit. There has to be serious pest management moving forward from this. So I think there's gonna be some major like traps,
gassing,
poison, Like whatever this
Yeah.
massive pest control looks like on a
Right.
giant floating garbage barge, that is what is going to be
Garbage
happening
barge.
right now.
I think a dog.
Dog.
A
A
dog.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dogs.
The first mate's gonna get a big old dog, or some dogs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the crisis, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because maybe it takes a little while to get all of
Right.
the supplies, but you
Mhm.
can get a dog, a couple
Yeah.
of dogs pretty quick.
Like from the perspective of the Meowtropolis community, it's like as if like it's like turning into a police state, right?
Yeah.
There's like
Mhm.
dog cops.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
national.
After this whole like scattering situation, when Rabbi Rainbow's like tries to go back into the temple, like into the galley,
Mm.
the entire like all of the surfaces of the galley have been like sprayed with citronella.
Yeah.
There are like little citronella candles like in like sort of different like strategic spots, and like the smell is just like so repellent and overpowering, and it's like a sacrilege that this like cat repelling smell has been placed all over the synagogue.
For Chester McStuffin, he is at work when things start to go sideways. It's not uncommon for there to be loud noises or smells that might be unfamiliar coming from up above the exclusive restaurant known as the Skybox, which of course stands underneath an opening in the garbage barge where trash is just dumped in. On this particular night, we have been getting to the last of our stores, and we're serving the last of basically like chicken guts that we have, like the gizzards and heart and lungs and stuff like that we found in a plastic bag somewhere. And that's when we start to hear the barking above us. And very quickly thereafter, food is not coming from that skybox anymore, but large furry bodies that look like they may be some sort of border collies or
Ugh.
even worse, dachshund. The restaurant is destroyed. I mean, it's pandemonium. Cats are killed. I mean, it's like shit is going down. It's the hand,
fists coming down.
Fists fucking dropping.
Fists of furries.
Fists of furries.
Yes.
Narcissa, after regrouping from the scattering, she is at the Crystal Lake, the Crystal World. She's kind of sighs, and she's looking into the lake, just staring at her reflection. And maybe she closes her eyes for a second and opens them, and in the reflection of the water, it's just this big black form, and these two eyes, giant eyes, become clear in the reflection.
Deep in the bowels of the horse's mane, because everyone thinks it's just a discarded head, but there's the entire carousel horse if you get down deep enough.
Oh.
So deep down in there, that's where the Honorable Judge Buttercup is watching the show. And there's some glistening bodies dancing around wearing toy dog heads. And he's just hopped up on Sluice, just watching this all go down. He's like, what's his voice again?
Truman Capote.
Truman Capote, but like deeper. Now, meow, see, now that's what I like. Now that's the way to move it. And there's a shaking, though, and it all, dirt starts to rain down, and the kittens' backs arch, and their dog head, toy heads come off, and they start hissing, and they're like, "What's wrong, little ones? Why are you running away?" And the judge starts to get up and is sort of weaving, following them out, and finally makes their way up to the horse's mane, where a boot kicks the head in,
Oh.
and he's exposed to the light, and there's a growling face right there, held at bay by a leash.
Fascist.
So everyone's described what happens. What do you do?
Yeah, Chester McStuffin fights for his life, spitting and clawing, using what Meowse gave him to try and stay alive. I think he's batting dogs' faces, and they're yowling, and cats are jumping, and dogs are biting into cats, and there's barking and hissing and scratching, and shit's going crazy. I think the Skybox restaurant is destroyed as cats are scattering and dogs are chasing them. We're hearing barking all around Meowtropolis at this point. Chester, his tail is maybe bitten real hard, and he has some cuts on his face and his body. He goes to the catwalk.
So Honorable Judge Buttercup darts and weaves and finds themselves running alongside the young bartender Kitten. And they're both just draggled, dirty, scratched up. And they get to clearing in the heap with the dogs still scrambling to get up to him. The Honorable Judge goes, "My boy, you see, this is where we part ways." And pulls a call, like a whistle out of their afro, their white afro,
Kitten.
and blows it, and it makes this call like a gull.
What?
Call. And the gull swoops down and grabs the judge, and Kitten tries to scramble on and hold the judge back. His judge is kicking him and goes, "Boy, you got many lives left to live. Let me go." And kicks Kitten free, who tumbles down into the maw of the dog. And he goes, and as the bird flies away, carrying the Honorable Judge Buttercup, he goes, "I will miss you, Meowtropolis. From the cliffs of Heath to the fields of Goth, you were my home." Dropped in the water. Bloop.
Narcissa turns around, and in front of her is this giant. It's very disturbing. It's almost like a cat on two legs standing up, but naked, and it's a human. This is the first human that she's seen up close, but she's disgusted, but then she sort of steels herself and she yells. She's like, "Get out of here, leave us alone." And the human looking down on this cat just sees this little tortie and the human is like, "Brah, brah, 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 brah," and stomps the foot, and Narcissa dodges out of the way of this giant foot, and she runs away. But looking back over her shoulder, she sees the human reach out over, miles above the crystal lake, and he reaches over and turns a handle, a circular handle of a pipe that was dripping water down into the lake, turning it off. And she runs back to town.
Rabbi Rainbows also goes to the catwalk.
Ooh, yeah.
And when Rabbi Rainbows sees Chester McStuffin in the catwalk, he approaches him and he says the following rousing speech. He says, "Chester McStuffin, we have only one thing left in the light of day, as we are stomped and badgered and kicked out of our sacred spaces by these fascist dogs. All we have left is our tradition. Dance off now!
And the competition will not be stopped.
The competition and our cultural traditions will not be stopped by these fascist dogs.
That's exactly why Chester was going there, was to continue to walk, continue to strut.
So Rabbi Rainbows and Chester are the only cats in there, and they do their
They
performances.
burn that motherfucker down.
They really do it up, and there is nobody to judge them.
No. They do it for each other and for the love of their people.
Exactly, for all of catkind.
All of catkind.
Okay.
For all the he sprue.
So now you are going to decide whether the kingdom survives or fails. Why don't we close our eyes, stick our hands out
Thumbs up,
Once you've
thumbs
got it,
down.
Is
or
this
middle.
as a player? I forget.
as a player?
Okay.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Take that!
Take that, fascist
take-
dogs!
Take that.
Meowtropolis survives.
Another day.
Yeah, the Meowtropolis will survive. We'll figure out what that means. So let's describe the outcome of that. Sure, I'll start because I'm gone at this point. Like,
Are we? What,
the
in what
seagull
way?
is like flying me towards the mainland, and I look back. Like, I see movement, and even from this distance, I'm like, "Damn, it is popping off." and my like movement and turning disrupts the bird, and I fall from its claws and plunge into the water below.
Oh no!
Bye.
That's what you get for deserting Meowtropolis.
It really is.
So what happens to Meowtropolis, gang? What's the outcome? We kind of said the captain didn't mind the cats.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like the captain is like, what the hell? Like, would you rather have cats or rats?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I also kind of feel like their ecosystem was destroyed. Like Metropolis's
Yeah.
ecosystem was destroyed. So
Yeah.
I feel like the kingdom can survive, but it has
It's like
to
a new face.
change.
Yeah.
So what if the kindly captain somehow arranged for Metropolis to find a new home?
I mean,
Oh, I kinda like that.
alternatively, and let me just posit an alternative.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like one possibility I see is that for a while there are these sort of like dog pogroms, right? And
Mhm.
and there's like pockets of resistance among the cats. But then at a certain point, the captain is just like really exasperated by the fact that his first mate is like taking
Like war.
like
Mhm.
like being so aggro and like fixating on this like kind of irrelevant problem and like also has been like drinking a lot and is just like a really difficult person to
Plus,
deal
the
with.
captain's allergic to dogs.
And yeah, and I think that like after a series of like talks and reprimands and like warnings, like I think eventually the first mate gets fired.
I'm right on board with that. And so we sort of have this progression of almost like this Gallipoli, like Paris, Polish resistance movement
Yeah.
underground, like these cats trying to survive and fight back against these dogs.
Yeah, and then like it like
And then one day they're just
one day
gone.
it's just gone
Yeah,
because
it's
of
over.
external things happening.
Yeah, for the first mate, it becomes an obsession,
Yeah.
almost, of like
Maybe
eradicating.
an obsession that continues even after they're fired.
He does the same thing on some other barge.
Goes on to terrorize
Or
some
he's, or
other.
he's super fixated on
kingdom.
Meowtropolis specific.
But like one way or another, the captain of this garbage barge is just like, this is excessive.
It's seen as a miracle amongst maybe the cats.
Yeah,
They return to
at least the
their
most
Jewish
religious.
ways.
Yeah, for sure.
I think there's been some turnover. Some of the old guard has been lost in
Definitely.
the purging by
In the
fascism.
scrum.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Although I think that there's definitely like a strong effort on the part of all of those per mitzvah kittens to like keep the traditions
Maintain,
alive.
definitely.
So there's like a like new generation of really socially conscious like Mewish cats.
Yeah, they'll have to
Mhm.
create
Yeah.
new sacred spaces because everything's been destroyed.
Yeah.
And like all the
Or
youngest
rebuild.
and the smallest and fastest survived, really. So
Yeah, totally.
And they become a lot less materialistic. And
Yeah, I could see that too. Although I think they still have the talent shows.
Different talents are more important.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's more about like abilities. Like it's like like Ninja Warrior
Yes.
or such.
Or it's like a communal thing, like community, team building, like
Yeah.
maybe too. There's more like excursion stuff,
Mm.
like where they go off barge
Yeah.
to bring food back because it's
like fresh food,
right.
like
Yeah.
foraging for
Mhm.
and hunting.
Or there's like some kind of system that like when the barge is in port, they're like able to get off the barge to
Yeah.
get stuff. and
Something
come
they
back.
hadn't done before because
Yeah,
there
they-
wasn't enough
mhm.
there wasn't not scarcity. Yeah.
Yeah.
That gone fishing hat turns into a new sect of the religion. where they actually do fish.
Called holy mackerel.
Oh, I know. Oh, is there a Messiah that rises in the
There
next?
you
Oh
go.
my God, messianic cats.
Writes that. If you teach a cat to fish.
Go eat fish.
Good kingdom.
Yeah, that was a great
Yeah.
kingdom.
Survived. All right. With that, our story ends. We will return with a new tale that's been there to entertain. I was one of your players, John Holt. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Joho and on Instagram at board_ghost. Ken, where can people find you?
Board Ghost, you can find me, Ken Breese, in the Sluice Pipe, obviously. No, find me on the internet at Burling's Beard, BRINGS Beard on Twitter, Instagram, and my website of the same name. I am a freelance game master in the New York City area, so if you're looking for someone to run games for you that you're interested in and want to try, please do contact me. I can run them in person or online. I also have content I wrote on Drive-Thru RPG if you're interested in D&D. And other than that, I will be in Indianapolis for Gen Con 2019, so please do hit me up if you're going to be in Indianapolis as well for that.
I'm D. Gailey. You can find me on Twitter at MixNerd, MXNURD. And I hope if you have adventures in our kingdom of Meowtropolis, you'll tweet me up on Twitter and let me know what kinds of events and adventures you get into.
My name is Lucian Khan. You can find me on Twitter at OTheogony. It's OH_THEOGONY. You can find the games that I have designed all sorts of places. Look for Dead Friend, a game of necromancy, on drivethrurpg.com. You can find If I Were a Lich Man on itch.io. You can find Grandma's Drinking Song in Codex Joy 2, also on drivethrurpg. You can find Same Bat Time, Same Bat Mitzvah for free if you Google it. And please check out in October the Kickstarter for Visigoths versus Molgoths.
Yay!
All right. What am I doing here? To learn more about the engine and players in our story, go visit boardghost.com. Go check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/boardghost, where you can get access to episodes early. You can get access to exclusive episode art in various formats and some how to play videos. So please do that. We'd like to thank Pat Couples for our theme song and interlude music. You can find more about Pat at patcouples.tumblr.com, on his website, hotelsandhighways.com. If you're not alone in the void, share our stories. The more they are consumed, the truer they become.
Dying don't agree with me, no. Oh, yeah.